Hey, so I'm out of Nottinghamshire today and I'm in Staffordshire. I've driven about 55 miles west of Nottingham and I'm now here somewhere in between Birmingham and Wolverhampton. And I've just arrived at a very special nursery and I'm hoping to show you around today because there's going to be lots of gorgeous gems to look at, and I've wanted to come here for quite a long time. It's a nursery called Ashwood Nurseries, and they specialise in breeding their own hellebores. And I'm sure there's loads of other things that are going to be great to see today. But I'm also looking forward to seeing the garden. They've got an established garden that they've planted up. And also I'm going on a special tour. So today they've opened it up to the public to have a special behind the scenes tour, which is limited to certain places. So I've booked on for that. I might not be able to show you around that, obviously, because it's kind of exclusive and we've paid a donation that goes to charity. But I'm just really looking forward to having a look around here today. So I thought I'd take you with me and let's see what we can find. The car park was pretty busy, and just from the outside I could tell that this place was going to be a lot bigger than I anticipated. And this was the view when I walked through. Glass houses galore, a coffee shop, and I could see the garden in the distance as well. It took a little bit of waiting around for the tour to start because of some latecomers, which just gave me time to have a little mooch about. And I didn't do any shopping to begin with, so this was all my first experience. But I did end up eyeing up a few of the plants in the nearby area just as we waited. And I was just really excited at this point. So we took a little walk behind the scenes where it's normally staff only. So this is all their production area where they've got a lot of polytunnels that are kind of off limits to the public normally. I was dying to get into this hellebore tunnel at this point, but it wasn't very far away. And this tunnel here is their production house for the hellebores, which is where the talk was going to take place. And oh my gosh, when I walked in, to see all those hellebores all lined up on those benches in so many colours, you know, there's pinks and reds and peaches, yellows as well. I've never seen so many hellebores in my life. And the speaker actually gave me permission to film this behind the scenes footage and also part of his talk as well. So I'll just lead you into that now. Apologies if the sound isn't as great. I'm sure you can bear with.
Ashwood's is pretty unique. It's an independent retail nursery owned by one gentleman, John Massey. He's developed this nursery from a much, much smaller nursery than what you see today, expanded many directions. So John thought in 1989 he wanted to specialise in a crop that would flower and bring in cash flow during the winter. So that's when he decided to have hellebores. The other way of propagating hellebores is by seed. So you would cross-pollinate the best hellebores together to keep improving the strain and the genetics of the plant. So you end up with a much stronger, more vigorous plant, garden ready. And you also get a chance to improve the colours.
The talk was really fascinating to hear about how they, hand pollinate every single hellebore and then grow it on for 3 years from seed for it to become a shop ready plant, which was really fascinating. And it explains, why we have to pay so much for hellebores. It's because so much time and effort goes into that whole process. So after the tour, we then got to roam around the exclusive little shop area where these hellebores here are only for visitors. We get first dibs, basically, on the new ones that will be available to sell or the ones that are part of their breeding trials. It was amazing to see such really unusual colours of hellebores, like this really deep sort of smoky grey kind of colour, and also that peachy apricot one you might have seen. I really, really wanted that one, but I think they're still using it for their trials. So it might be available perhaps next year, but that peachy tone with the anemone inner ring is actually really rare, I learnt. Apparently only 10% of the seeds that germinate have that inner ring of petals. So yes, very special, that one. But I'm not going to have my hands on it just yet, darn it. So yes, I quite happily filled my basket with 2 lovely hellebores. I then headed back to the main nursery shop area to discover even more plants and find out what else they sold. But also on the way back, I peeked through the window of this polytunnel and saw some of the pelargoniums that they're growing for next year. So that was really interesting to see. Unfortunately, the tour didn't cover all of those areas, so I just stuck to the path where I'm supposed to be. Don't want to get into trouble. But yes, I did also see loads of trees. They had these gorgeous willows and fruit trees as well. These apples with the vibrant pink flesh on the inside seem to be really popular at the moment. There were loads and loads of fruit trees, apples, pears, cherry and plum. But I don't really have that much room for another fruit tree at the moment, so I didn't come home with a fruit tree. But yeah, great selection here, so if you live nearby, definitely worth checking out for your allotment and gardens. They've also got a great selection of roses, and especially the David Austin roses. I know that they're not actually based too far away from this nursery, and I did debate whether I could fit in a double visit, visit them as well, but I realised I didn't want to rush myself, and it'll probably look a lot better in the summertime when they're actually in bloom. So I'll save David Austin for another day and another tour perhaps. But yeah, really good sort of outdoor sort of selection and loads to see here, especially these little cyclamen. I fell in love with these. That really sort of silvery foliage with the pink, I just love that combination. So one of those may have slipped into my basket as well. I then found myself at the alpine area, which is about where I started before the tour. And I don't have a huge collection of alpines, but I do have a few areas like the wheelbarrow that I converted into a alpine gravel garden, and also my tiny little bowl which I recycled from a broken chimney. And I thought, well, perhaps that they could do with a couple of new additions. They also had loads of ferns, and this little greenhouse had a really gorgeous selection, as well as some knickknacks that I really liked, and snowdrops as well. And I know, is it a galanthophile? People that are obsessed with snowdrops. Snowdrops can be ridiculous prices. I even saw one that was more than this. I think it was about £50 for a snowdrop. I don't really get all the rage about them, to be honest, but everyone has their own thing. These little greenhouse terrariums were absolutely gorgeous and really, really wanted one, but yeah, not got the budget for that today, unfortunately. But yeah, really gorgeous little selection of trinkets, hello, and all sorts in this little tunnel, which I really rather enjoyed. And then I found myself, where are we? Ah yes, this is the main sort of retail area where they've got lots of camellias and also the main bulk of their hellebores on display. All those gorgeous different colours, pinks, purples, maroons, whites. Absolute heaven, just enjoying all of those different colours and shapes, from the soft pinks to the dark reds. I could have stayed here all day. I particularly like the really dark red ones. I just think they really stand out on a winter garden, especially if they have that really dark foliage with the sort of marbling, the variegation running through it. I really love those. Just lifting up their heads just to see what colour they are inside, it's such a nice surprise. This one looks like a lotus flower that should be floating on a pond. I do love it when they float them on water. I might try that at home this year. And then I discovered they also have fruit bushes. Honestly, I wasn't prepared for all of this today, and I found myself looking at the loganberry, which is a cross between a blackberry and a raspberry. And they also had the tayberry, which I was trying to decide between. But look, they've got blueberries, black currants, red currants, white currants, and gooseberries as well, just to name a few. Honestly, they had such a great selection. I was really, really impressed with it. So in the end, I ended up getting the tayberry. I haven't actually decided where it's going to go, and I know they need quite a bit of room, so I'll just think about that one when I get to it. And then, lo and behold, they've got a huge houseplant selection as well. And for those that know me quite well, I do love my houseplant. Tried not to spend too much, but I did get a few new additions. This one was really interesting. Hadn't seen this before, the bead plant. Don't think you can eat them, but nice little low growing one. Could be good for a terrarium or something. And then Mimosa pudica, the sensitive plant. When you touch it, all the leaves close inwards. Such a fascinating plant that ended up in my basket. Oh, and they also have my favourite. I love hellebores. They remind me so much of my grandmother. I've already got 2 at home. One of them looks just like this, so didn't end up getting another one. There were still loads more that I haven't covered here, but that's most of the nursery area. And I was then dying to see their outdoor garden that they've planted up with a lot of their shrubs. The sun just started to come out at this point, and it felt actually quite warm on my back just walking around this entrance pathway. You know, there's a lovely gentle bustle of people nearby. In the cafe, the tea room that they have was really busy, and it was just such a nice atmosphere. These established trees, those conifers. I even spotted a little bug hotel, which was great. And then below it, there were all these gorgeous snowdrops, and the bees, suddenly out of nowhere, were just buzzing in between them. This is a euphorbia that I've spotted before at a garden near me. That silvery foliage, I just love it. But what a view! You know, this gorgeous little strip of a garden, so well landscaped, and those mature trees as well. This area was particularly of a sort of Japanese style. They had lots of acers in there that obviously don't have the leaves on at the moment, but lots of ferns, great for a shade garden, and lots of shaped specimens as well. But look at that bank of crocus. Oh my gosh, just as the sun had started to come out, it was absolutely brimming with bees, and it was just such a nice afternoon. The breeze had died down a bit now, but there was just enough to sort of blow around the grasses as I continued to follow the path down and see what else I could find. They had some really unusual trees. This one just about to come into bloom, and also a witch hazel that was in bloom. So despite the time of the year, there was still so much to see in the garden, which was really, really nice. Check out this bonsai topiary cloud pruning work on this. Absolutely amazing to see. And to see all the workings as well. Look how they've used that wire to sort of bend them in that horizontal position, and nice tightly clipped as well. Just the way it had been landscaped all together, it was so well done. This carpet of cyclamen, again that silver pink contrast that I absolutely love. It all just worked so well, and I can't wait to see this again in the summertime. Well, I've been on the tour, I've done my shopping and put my bits in the car. I'm now just sat in the garden and taking it all in. It's just so inspiring to see how they've planted it all and how it looks, you know, in the landscape, in a garden. There's some really unusual pieces here, and it's just been such a nice day. The sun's come out now, and I can't believe how many bees are around, and the sun's quite warm, and yeah, it's been a really gorgeous day. Really enjoyed my visit, and the people here, oh my gosh. Birmingham, Wolverhampton, you've got some of the loveliest, friendliest people, you know, from the petrol station coming here, and just hearing people chit chat. It's just a really nice place. So yeah, I recommend everybody goes to visit Ashwood Nurseries. If you're not local, they've got a website where you can pick up some of their special hellebores and all sorts of other plants. I might have to do a separate haul video because I bought maybe a bit too many bits, but you know, I have to make the most of the trip, right? Well, I'm going to catch the last of these rays of glorious sunshine and enjoy a moment of tranquility before I get back in the car for an hour and 50 minutes drive back to Nottingham. So thank you for joining me. Let me know if you like this sort of video, because I might like to visit a few more nurseries and show you around if you enjoyed it. But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.